Hello, welcome back. It's now time to talk about drying process of umeboshi making. First of all, I'm going to talk about why we want to dry umeboshi. Well, literally umeboshi is means ume dry. So it's dried ume. It doesn't even say pickling or pickle in that umeboshi phrase. But then we do pickle before we dry it. And the reason is to sanitize the ume with the sunlight, UV light. And also with the heat, we dry it so that the texture or the flavor condenses inside the ume. And also by heating the ume, actually the flavor comes out from the seed as well. It's the core of the seed as well, pit. So um, that's why we do that. Some people does in the oven, convection oven or oven with a lower temperature, like warm setting. If you have proof setting for your bread in your oven, then that's the way that you want to do it. But it's kind of it doesn't really sanitize, right? You don't get UV light, so it doesn't sanitize. So it's not as same, but there is alternative way. So well, let's be creative. And you know what? It still tastes good even though you never try it. So I would recommend you. Well, if this is just the portion, I will dry everything. But if you have a pound or 2 pounds of ume, then I will recommend you to eat one of them before you do that. And if you love it, that's fine. That's your umeboshi. Even though you haven't. Sorry for the weird sound. My dog is making a little noise over here, but let's ignore that sound if you hear it. So now, um, let's do this. And I have today is here shiraume, which is most of you are making, right? The white ume. And I also have akashiso version. It is dyed into red with akashiso. Akashiso is the Japanese basil, but it's red. Okay, so let's talk from the white one. So we also call this Kanto umeboshi. Kanto boshi. Kanto means the center prefecture of Japan. Center prefectures of Japan, like Chiba, Tokyo, Kanagawa, Kansai. No, not Kansai. Kanagawa, Ibaraki, Miyagi. Not Miyagi, maybe, but the little small center parts the of Japan, and we call it Kanto. And Kanto people likes this version better, more than the Akashiso version. I don't know why, but that's how it calls. Okay, so what we don't want to do is injured ume, because if you injure them, the juice comes out pretty quickly. The juice meat actually comes out with the sun by heating it, so it sticks to the basket. So today I have basket here that has a little lid goes over, so I don't have to worry about the dust and um, thing. But so how you're gonna do is you can either use spoon or chop. I use chopsticks for everything, but if you're not chopstick person, and make sure you drop the drip in place. And I'm gonna use chopsticks. And if you go to like a Daiso, like you have a long chopstick, that is easier. But very gentle. Smells so good. And I did sanitize this basket beforehand. Like that. And I actually don't have sunlight today, so I'm doing this just for demo. I'm gonna actually put it back in here later on. And you want to have some space in between each ume so that they won't, you will get the airflow. So airflow is the key, right? And let's pull it out everything. And also what you want to do is you want to uh, what I will do is I'm going to, well, let's pull this out. So it seems like it's hotter tomorrow in my area, but it seems like partial crowded, partial sunny. So it's not the very best timing of the year. So pickling process take about 4 to 6 weeks, but then it doesn't mean you need to dry it right after. You can wait until the sun comes out. You want to have at least like 100 degrees. It's better you have 90 upper 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's about like 30 to 35 degrees Celsius, I guess. Otherwise, you won't get that heat to the heat won't reach to the core of ume. So that's not good. But you want to have a little spacing between ume and shiraume. This kanto boshi umeboshi is a lot easier than shiso version. And so I'm going to cover the shiso version too later on. But so there's a juice over here. This is called, this is nice golden color. This is called umesu. It's quite, let's taste it. Ah, it's so salty, but at the same time, little bit of sourness. So, but you get that floral scent from it, and it's really good for. It's drinkable. Well, you might want to reduce the salt content with water or but it's really good after when you sweat. So when you go to running, you could just get the little bit of this into the water, drink. It kind of utilize your blood, a thicker blood to thinner. It thins the blood, so it's really good. Yeah, and I also use this for dressing, salad dressing, or you can also marinate this with pork, chicken. It's really good vinegar, but not really vinegar. It's like very salty vinegar. Um, so what I will do is I usually get a little bottle like this, no plastic because it's too salty and sour. The glass jar, and I will just keep it in here. Okay. So the drying process, if you get this ume line up, you can just dry this for 2 to 3 days. Well, unfortunately, the sun over here is not that strong, so I will do 3 days probably. But it all depends on how much texture, like how dry you like. Some people like juicier version, so then they will just do 1 day. There's no rule. I do 3 day. I do 2 days with the last year batch. So this is the last year batch. Let's take a look of. So when you dry it, it has more wrinkle, right? Because the moisture evaporates, and you'll see that on the surface. So when you see this umeboshi, it is a little bit wrinkly, but not very old. Oh, this doesn't look like old person, right? So it's still juicy and how to say soft. Of course, it's soft, but it's very plumped. But if you look at this, it's more like it. It looks moistured because the surface is kind of wet, but you can see more wrinkle. The size wise, this ume was a little smaller ume than this one, but still. But this is like a year and a half year old umeboshi. Mm. Mm. Yes, it's 18% salt, so you get this kick of that saltness, but you get flavor, like a ton of layer of flavors, very floral. I'm gonna do this year version. It's been 6 week old, 6 week pickled. Mm. Oh. Yes, I feel the salt. I can smell the fresh ume. So this is fresher, definitely, but the taste wise it's just salty. And I think that's a part of the reason we want to dry it under the sun. Okay? So there's a couple ways. And I think the way I learned is a lot easier because I don't have to take care of it so many times. So I'll put the cover just like that and leave it a whole day. And next day, I will leave it whole through the night. And if your neighbors, if you're afraid of like small animal taking over, you probably want to put in the box at night so that they won't open. But I do believe that the night cool night temperature will also make the help this process better. But some people doesn't want to leave this in at night, then they will just bring this inside the house. When you bring it inside the house, you can just leave it in the kitchen counter and bring it out next morning. If you left this out, you can just leave it outside whole 3 days, 2 to 3 days. Although, either way, you want to kind of rotate your ume. So, and it's a little bit easier if you left this outside, because during the in the early morning the surface of ume gets a little moisture from that coolness, so that even though the ume was a little sticked onto the basket during the day, with the moisture, it makes it easier to again turn it over. So how you're gonna do is you want to turn it over. So you get the sun and the UV, you get more evenly directly to everywhere. So for 3 days, you want to kind of rotate. Every morning, you want to rotate. If you want to take this inside the house during the night, you probably need to rotate once more or twice more during the day so that the ume won't stick too much to the basket. Okay. You probably don't know what I'm talking about, but you will see as you go. It's quite a process. So some people who gets the sun but not high temperature, they leave in the car dashboard. So they leave in the car, and in the front window you get direct sun, right? But you don't get airflow. So if you want to use your car to dry your ume, I would recommend you to keep the window a little bit like slightly open, like an inch or two, so that air flows, right? So that's the way you want to dry. After this process, you can put back your ume into the jar very gently. By the sun, the ume surface got very, how to say, fragile even more. So be careful. And you might think it's ready to eat, but it's actually not. Well, technically, like I said in the beginning, it's ready to eat. You can eat anytime, but we usually wait at least another 3 months. What? Right? I know. I know. But that's how the umeboshi is made. So if you put it back, you can with the kanto umeboshi, shiro umeboshi, you don't need the liquid. So you can just put it like this because the ume is sanitized. So you can leave it like this and it won't ruin. And because it's 18% salt, you don't have to put the liquid back. Next year, another year, if you want to try with less salt, you probably need to pour some this back so that the surface is again covered with the liquid. Okay, but this, and in a jar you want to make 3 months again, then you can eat it. It'll taste even better, and it does taste better if you can wait another year. mm, I need a rice, but it'll taste so much better. Okay. So that's the process of drying. You want to put it and spread the ume on the basket, cover with something if you care. If you are in the mountain, I don't think you need to care. But if you are in the city, you might want to protect your ume and keep it out 3 days. Um, rotate over once or couple times a day, so that the sun you get every parts of the ume gets sun bathed. Okay, and put it back into a jar and keep it for another 3 months. I know you thought it's just done, right? But it's not. Okay, so alternatively, um, what you can, I said no stainless, no steel, no metals, but let's say you just have this type of like thing at home, then I will probably put a layer of paper, kitchen paper, so that, and this is made with bamboo. It's so cool, you can reuse this, and it's not so, I say, fibery. Paper, when you have like a real, like actual kitchen paper, the fiber of the paper towel, kitchen paper towel, is very short, because it's cotton based. So um, you may get those fiber onto ume eventually, but this is very long fiber, so I think it's a little safer as a material. So you can do that. So you get airflow because I have a leg on this. This is my husband's cookie cooler, right? That is good. Or or if you live in the Bay Area, we have Daiso, like Japan, and I got this at Daiso. So what it is, it has a zipper. It has entire space is net, so I can place my ume over here and hang from somewhere. So you get 360-degree of sun. You may not need to rotate this, but I will rotate it actually. Yeah, so that's good too. If you don't like this synthetic fiber to touch with the ume, you can put the layer of something underneath the ume so that it's protected like that. So there's so many alternative ways. So let's be creative. If you want me to observe what your idea is, let me know. Shoot me email. My dog is chewing something really bad. Do not chew that. Thank you very much. And let's talk about this akashiso version. So I'm gonna pour this back because it's not time to dry yet. Okay, so this is akashiso version. I'm so excited about this because this year I got so many shiso, really good ones. Last year I was a little behind from my ordering, so I didn't get enough shiso. So this is akashiso, yeah. Can you see? So beautiful, isn't it? So this is salted akashiso that dyes the color of ume. Oh my god, we have a ton of this here. And if you go to stores, you see this type of ume too. But most likely it's food colored ume. There is a little bit of shiso like that, just a little bit, but most likely it's not it's chemically dyed. So look how red it is. It's hard to tell in the screen actually. And this is my last year ume shiso ume version. Can you tell the difference? Oh my god, this is so beautiful. It looks so yummy, but I know it's not yummy. And again, same thing. You want to dry it, so you want to pull that out. I'm not going to pull out everything just because I know that the weather is not warm enough today. So let's say it's all spread out. And what you want to do is you also want to dry this shiso. My hands are clean. So you want to squeeze the juice as much as possible. And then lay this onto the basket as well. I'm just doing partially because I want to put this back and wait for the sunny days. But what you want to do is just spread this shiso leaves just like that and dry this as well for 3 days. Okay. After drying process, because you want the shiso leaves in the umeboshi jar as well, when you put it back into the jar, you want to use maybe like 1/3 or half of the juice back together into the jar with dried ume. So it gets moisture back. So it means the dried leaves will get moisture back from this juice. And half of the juice or 2/3 of the juice, rest of the juice you can keep in the bottle so you can use this to something else. Although you don't need this much of shiso back into the jar. So what I would make is furikake. Furikake is a seasoning condiment for the white rice for us. So you can dry it and put it into the blender so that you can powder it. Then you can just put on top of your white rice and dig. Yeah? So maybe for this amount of jar, there's maybe like 15 or 20 ume inside. Then I just need this much back into the jar. So it looks nice when you present it on a tray. But rest of the shiso, of course I will dry it, but not dry um dry it crunchily so that I can make the furikake. All right, let's put it back into the original position. And what else we can do with this red vinegar? Because akashiso vinegar is very red, right? We can pickle ginger and make uh, benishoga. Benishoga is reddish ginger, pickled red pickled ginger that comes with sometimes on chirashi sushi, sometimes inside inari, sometimes a side of okonomiyaki, the savory pancake, or what else? We use as a condiment to refresh our taste when we are eating very greasy stuff. And this akashiso vinegar is actually really good things to use because it's not food colored, right? So I'm putting it back because I want to wait another couple days for the sun to come out. The weather forecast said tomorrow is warm, maybe hot, but it's not hot enough, you know? So anyways, so that's the drying process. I couldn't show the actual process just because I have no sun today. And showing you 3 consistent days is not even possible for me. But yes, there's no, so again, there's no wrong, there's no right. Your pickled ume is ready to eat. If you want to do more traditional umeboshi process, you need to dry for 2 to 3 days under the sun and put it back in the jar and wait patiently another 3 months at least. But there's no rule. What does that mean, right? And if you don't get sun, then you can use oven for a couple days, maybe like 5 hours per time, so that you can check. But 5 hours is a long time, isn't it? But you also want to rest your ume so that they don't get stressed with the heat. Yeah, but other than that, I think I covered. And if you have any additional creative idea to dry your ume, just let me know and let's figure out if that is possible or actually a great idea. And maybe if that is a great idea, we'll share with all of you so that we can process our ume better and yummier. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I hope you a successful umeboshi process. Bye now.